Tonight I have a topic in mind for it, so there you go. It's one of those Red Eye Raw. Um, and today I want to talk about unlikable protagonists. Because that is something you see thrown around about a lot of things that are tend to be popular to hate on, right? And the reason I wanted to do this video is because I've been playing a lot of Y2K again. A game of which I have both an ironic and genuine appreciation for, and that genuine appreciation has been growing by quite a lot. So, Evie, Evie, hey, don't you go causing problems. But yeah, that genuine appreciation has grown quite a bit. And it's funny because the character that everyone hates the most in that game is the main character, Alex Eagleston, who is my favorite character in the game. I fucking love him. Mainly because he's the most entertaining. He's funny. Um, he's pretentious. He's full of himself. He's fucking stupid. Um, but that's kind of the point of the game. And I think they do get that across in some regards, but also um, there is definitely like the thing is, I feel like a lot of the ironic enjoyment you have for the game is the ironic enjoyment of Alex, right? Because like the thing is that I and I'm gonna do a video about Y2K a little bit more specifically. Kiki, hey, what are you doing? Kiki, no. But until then, that's just one of the examples I'm using here, right? Because the thing is, the character is also relatable in a way a lot of people don't like to admit. Because, he's insecure, he's flawed, he questions himself, and he's self centered. A lot of people don't like to admit that they can relate to him a lot more than they like to let lead on. Um, so that's one thing with the character that I really like. And again, I'm gonna do a little bit more on this when I do another video on the game because I reviewed the game a while ago. I've been streaming it again, but I plan on doing a video about sort of the weird experience you get getting into that game, or at least my experience with it, right? But he's not the only example I have of the unlikable protagonist that I actually really like. Another example would be Davy Stone from Adam Sandler's Eight Crazy Nights. Hang on a sec. You see, because a lot of people, when they talk about unlikable characters, or when they talk about characters that pull off unlikable traits, but are good characters, they miss the point of the unlikable character part, right? That's why a lot of people don't like Alex. But the same thing can be true for Davy Stone in Eight Crazy Nights. Everyone acts like he's like the worst person ever when he really only does one thing that I think is really fucked up. And that's when he pushes Whitey down in the porta potty. That's the one thing that I'm like, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Like, I mean, he does drunk drive a snowmobile that he stole. That's pretty bad. But like, everyone acts like he's unforgivable and that he doesn't redeem himself in the movie, which to me is absurd because he gives back to the one he hurt the most by giving him the thing he has always wanted. Which is why I love that movie because it's a redemption story, right? Um, and I think it's easily like the most underrated Adam Sandler movie, hands down. But there's nothing I find inherently unlikable. Like, yeah, he's a dick, but like, there's plenty of jerk characters that work. I always find that fun when you have a main character that's kind of a jerk. I think that works out quite a bit. I think that's very enjoyable, very entertaining. Because number one, you can kind of relate to it because I think we all have those moments where we're fucking assholes. I mean, I'm a fucking asshole, so maybe that's why I love these characters so much. But in addition to that, you you have things where you can see, oh, hey, I know people like that too. You know what I mean? Like you can also relate to it in that regard. Because like I've never understood the obsession with having to absolutely relate to a character to enjoy them. There's plenty of characters that I love and enjoy that I absolutely do not relate to. Another example of a character that I think is divisive that a lot of people find unlikable is Light Yagami. Obviously, there's plenty of people who love Light Yagami, myself included. It's pretty divided amongst the fan base, but you hear like pussies like Phantom Strider going on about how he's unlikable just because he has an ego and because he has a god complex. But it's like, do you not see why that's intriguing as a character? Do you not see why that makes a good, compelling narrative, an interesting story? And like flawed protagonists are always great too. I always enjoy that kind of stuff. Like Clockwork Orange is one of my favorite movies, and the protagonist in that does a lot of horrific shit. That's kind of the point, right? Or in Yorotsuki Doji, like all of the protagonists have done bad things in that series, but I still really like it. So I just find it fascinating when people say that a character is unlikable or that because a character is unlikable, they can't enjoy them as a character. And it's funny because I 180'd on some things over time, right? Like with like Joffrey in Game of Thrones. I hated him, but I loved to hate him. Now I fucking love Joffrey. Like he's a piece of shit, but that's what I love about him, right? Like I love watching him. I enjoy it. It's fun. Um, in a similar way to Ramsay is fun, but although I go back and forth which I prefer, to be honest. They're both really enjoyable characters for me. Like I don't know. I really like. It's funny because like I always hear all these YouTubers like Phantom Strider and stuff about how they hate mean spirited stuff. I love mean spirited stuff. Mean spirited stuff can be great. I mean, that's what made Family Guy great. Um, and you know, everyone likes to shit on Family Guy, and you can shit on it too, because like the writing is lazy as fuck. Like, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Just because it's low effort doesn't immediately make it bad. Um, there's a novel. Evie, no, no, Evie, hey, Evie, no. Sorry about that. Don't go over there and cause trouble. Stay over here. But yeah. So anyway, um, as I was saying, a lot of these characters are unique in that regard. Like you like the thing is I get tired of characters that try to relate to me. You know what I mean? Like when characters try to be too trademark, relatable, or likable, like that's the problem. Like a character doesn't have to be relatable and likable. Be a well-written or well-developed character. I think that that's an obsession that a lot of people have because that's what they've been told to have when they're taught how to write narratives and stuff like that, right? They're told that they need to adhere to these things to draw people in. But I think that that's ridiculous because there are plenty of different types of narratives that can be told with a total asshole character that wouldn't work if you put a likable character in it. But I don't know. That's really the main thoughts I had on that subject as to why I really like unlikable characters. Um, Other than, you know, like I said, Alex from White, Davy Stone, Alex from Clockwork Orange. I mean, I think most people like Alex from Clockwork Orange just because there's the suffering you see him go through that they think kind of makes up for it, and I agree. But like, there's also times when people will like overlook faults in a like. There's plenty of characters that are divisive that are like the comedian. I fucking love the comedian in Watchmen. He's my second favorite character in that series, and as crazy as it is, he's the one I relate to the most. And the reason for that is because of his cynicism. I'm a very cynical person. I absolutely am. So when I see the comedian, I can relate a hell of a lot to that, to the cynicism of everything. Evie, don't go cause trouble. Stay over here. You don't need to go cause trouble by defense, okay? Um, but like a lot of people don't like the comedian because of the things he does. But those things he does, while extreme and over the top, you got to also remember two things. One, it's fiction, and two, that's kind of the point of the character. You know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be like I mean that's why it's so fitting in the Watchmen movie when they play I'm Your Boogeyman when he's going around beating up those rioters because he's the boogeyman of the story. He's the asshole, right? He's the one that they gotta. You are noisy, you know that, Evie? But yeah, I think people have an obsession with wanting to make characters like likable and relatable, and I think that's a problem. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of likable and relatable characters I like too. But then you get other times when it's like, it's funny. Because, like, I'll hate ones that try to relate in a broad sense, right? That try to just be like, seem as good and relatable and likable. But then there's also ones that try to relate to a niche, like, very much, right? Like, you know, they'll try to be like, you know, how do you do, fellow nerds? Or how do you do, fellow weebs? Or how do you do, fellow, like, this or that? Like, there will be characters that are made to relate to a weird niche, too. And a lot of the times, those feel forced to me. Now, those kind of characters can work, too. Um, but like another example of like unlikable characters that I fucking love, and most people would actually agree with me on this one who've seen it, is the two main characters from Peep Show, Mark and Jeremy. They're total fucking degenerates, total outcasts, total social pariahs, no social skills whatsoever, and very few redeeming qualities, if any. But that's what makes them enjoyable. Now people can say, oh well, it's comedic. Evie, and so they're more excusing of it because it's comedy. But that can work in other narratives too, and I think people are very closed-minded when it comes to that. But like they'll be fine with it in that kind of comedy, but then you take it in other comedies, like I said, like Adam Sandler's Eight Crazy Nights, and they won't excuse it. Evie, stop trying to go over to the fence and cause problems. Kiki, don't you start. You guys want to go inside? Huh? Evie, do you have to keep walking into the backs of my kneecaps? All right, good girl. If you're staying out here, behave yourself, Kiki. All right. All right. All right. There we go. But yeah, that's really, like I said, all I had to say. At this point, I'm just going to start repeating myself if I go on about that subject. Maybe I didn't need to do this one live, but, you know, what the hell. Figured I'd be out here for a minute. Might as well do a Red Eye Raw live. But yeah, I do plan on doing a video about Y2K a little bit more in depth. Like I said, I reviewed it forever ago, but I've just been kind of obsessed with it again, as you may have noticed from the sheer amount of streams I've done of it in the last couple of days. But like other characters that people do like that fall into this category, right? Or like obviously like the characters from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, right? Like they do all sorts of horrible shit, but everybody loves them. But again, you can argue it's the setting, the tone, the comedic effect of it. But though I see those points, and I do definitely think there is a point to that, right? Because there are traits that can make characters genuinely very, very hard to like. And there's plenty of characters that I can't stand. Like an unlikable character that I fucking hate is Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. I cannot stand Scarlett O'Hara. She is awful. I fucking hate her. She ruins that movie for me. I love Rhett Butler. He's a great character, but I fucking hate Scarlett O'Hara. So I'm not saying like at the end all be all that I like every unlikable character, because there's plenty of unlikable characters that are meant to be unlikable that I genuinely don't like. And sometimes that can ruin a story for me, but other times it enhances it. Because again, there are sometimes you're supposed to dislike a character. Like I said, like Joffrey in Game of Thrones. You're supposed to dislike him because he's the antagonist, right? And there's plenty of times stuff like that happens. And like one of the traits people can find unlikable in a character is that they're pathetic. And while that is often very hard to like, there are times when it can be either endearing or funny. For instance, I mean, granted, this maybe isn't the best example of endearing because he fucking sucks at the beginning of the movie, and that's Melvin from the Toxic Avenger, right? I'm not talking Toxie. I'm talking Melvin pre-transformation. Total fucking loser. Like, he is easily the most pathetic character I've seen in the movie ever. But that's kind of the juxtaposition, right? Like, it starts out like that, and then he becomes a total Chad in Toxie, albeit a hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength. But let's see. Of course, there are times I will disagree with creators on whether or not, like, there are plenty of times I'll interpret things with, death of the author and whatnot, where I'll disagree with the reasoning behind an author's intention, and I'll like I said, Watchmen, I absolutely hold a completely different worldview to Alan Moore. Can't stand the way that guy thinks. Love his story, but because of the opposite reasons than he'd want me to. The characters I like are the ones he doesn't want me to like, etc., etc. But but I probably actually will be playing more Y2K after this stream. We'll see. Will depend. I guess it depends on how late it is. I do got to work tomorrow, but not until the afternoon. And hopefully I won't have to work every Sunday here in the next little bit when we get some more people trained on Sundays, because I've had to work every Sunday for the last few weeks, and that's been kind of a pain in the ass. But another thing, I'm also planning on doing a video about contrarianism and underdogs, right? Also, again, a lot of this stuff is inspired by my current renewed enjoyment of Yick, because that has brought a lot of that back out, where I'm like, these are actually good video ideas, so it gets the old gears turning, So, I plan on doing a video about, contrarianism and underdogs and things like that. And because I have a lot of views that are opposite when it comes to media than a lot of people, right? Like, I'll defend a lot of things that are hated, and I'll hate a lot of things that are liked. And that's not intentional, necessarily. Like, I obviously do think that there is sort of that oppositional part of my personality where I'm like, yeah, you know what, fuck you. But obviously, there are plenty of things that are really popular that I like, and plenty of things that are really unpopular that I dislike. So it's not like that's an end-all be-all. But like I said, that will also be its own separate video. But, it's kind of related to this topic, right? Like, plenty of things that people view as completely and utterly shit that I absolutely love and will even defend on an objective level that people will come and argue with. Like Duke Nukem Forever, obviously, for instance. I defend the hell out of that game all the time. And obviously I'm in the minority on that, and I don't care. Because for me, consensus doesn't make something true. It's just like with Dragon Ball GT, right? With Dragon Ball GT, everyone likes to hate on that. I've literally talked to people who have never seen it and literally just hated it because they thought it, because it was popular to hate it, basically. There's like, oh, well, it's not DBZ. But yeah, I guess I'm debating if I end this or just keep it going while I smoke this. I mean, it's usually the latter when I'm out here doing these red eye raws, isn't it? Let's see. What else could I talk about, though? Because I've touched on things I already plan on doing out here. Or not out here, but on YouTube. Um, oh, that ad block thing YouTube's been doing has been really fucking annoying. Can't stand that. Um, another thing YouTube, well, like that little thing they do with you, they're like, oh, you ad block's not allowed on YouTube, and then fucking blocks you off and they have to wait till it time's out. It's fucking gay. But with that, everything's fucking pussified now where they call it allow list instead of whitelist because they tell you to allow list the site. Like, why is that? Why? It's so cringe. Like, whitelist was a perfectly fine term. Like, are you incapable of hearing the name of a color without immediately thinking of race? That guy's going fast as fuck, boy. But streamed for a good amount today before this because I played some Yik earlier, and I also watched some movies. Obviously, we did Nosferatu. We did Shiki, the first 4 episodes, and then we did uh, Subspecies and Creature from the Black Lagoon. But I need to try and get some horror stuff up in October. I want to do a Sergeant Friends Halloween special, but we'll see if that happens. I don't know if that's going to happen in a timely manner, to be perfectly honest. And that sucks, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I should probably do another monthly movie recap soon, too, since I've seen a good amount of movies. And I will get one out in October, so we'll have 2 that are actually monthly in a row. So that'll be pretty cool. And if I can keep that trend up, that would be fucking fantastic. I plan on doing my complete PS4 collection in the near future. But I'm debating if I wait till Plumbers Don't Wear Ties come out. I probably won't. I'll probably just do it. But I heard that they're gonna stop making Xbox One games and stop making PS4 games and then focus on the later gens after that. So that's kind of gay. We'll see how that goes. I mean, granted, that's usually the case with a new console generation, right? But the thing is it doesn't really feel like a new generation. Um, it's just an upgraded version, right? Like it's not like because like the Xbox to the Xbox 360, pretty big jump. Xbox 360 to Xbox One, also pretty big jump. Completely different UI. And like the games are much more capable of all sorts of crazy shit. What do you get with Xbox Series X? Enhanced graphics, 4K. That's it. That's basically it. Same thing with PlayStation, right? Just PS1, PS2, pretty big jump. PS2, PS3, pretty big jump. PS3, PS4, pretty big jump. And then PS4, PS5, it's just the same thing but with better graphics. Like the consoles basically again just feel like upgraded versions, and it's like to me that's like I don't play PC games on the highest graphic settings. So if I don't do that, why should I have to have the console that has the higher settings? You know what I mean? But we'll see how it actually goes. Luckily, I don't really buy a whole lot of new things anymore anyway. But and when I do, I usually buy older things. So I'm like buying stuff that's new to me but isn't actually new. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna probably be getting Hotline Miami soon and streaming that. That game's pretty fun. I played a little bit of it at Theron's the other night. I've also been playing through Legends of Dragoon, so I'll probably review that when I finish it. Um, I haven't got Game Pass in a fat minute. Instead, I've just been using discs and games that I bought. And I've been using my PlayStation a lot more, obviously, because I was playing Yick and AVGN Adventures, which is on Xbox, but only digitally. Hotline Miami is also only physical on PS4, but it's digital on Xbox. So I debate whether I want to get it on Xbox or PS4, because again, I can't stand PlayStation, but I like me some physical copies. And so I'm really excited for Yick 1.5, and I'm a little worried that if they discontinue PS4 games, I'm hoping they don't go to PS5 with that, because I want to get it on PS4. Since, they plan a physical copy. I guess I could always get it on Switch and use one of my brother's Switches. It'd be interesting if the PS4 version was stuck on 1.25, and then the PS5 version was 1.5, which, I mean, granted, would be interesting, because then I'd have a way to go back and play 1.25, because they said that 1.25 will still be available to download on Steam, but on consoles they will all be permanently locked into 1.5, which, granted, I'm looking forward to 1.5, like I said. But it is good that I'm playing through 1.25 again before that. I mean, granted, I never even played 1.0. What's up, Super Gaming? How you doing? It is funny how much I like that game. Um, when I know, and like, I definitely feel like an odd one out in the fan base, right? Because both the creator and the fan base, I would say, are probably fairly left wing, whereas I am pretty openly right wing. Um, so that's interesting. Like, I mean, granted, those labels mean next to nothing anymore because of fucking politics being fake and gay, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say it culturally. But again, that just comes back to separating the art from the artist, which I've talked about many times before. And also, I can enjoy stuff, and I can even enjoy a message, even if I don't agree with it. Um, but let's see. What else? The milk, the table, the table. Am I right? Um, I have plenty of top tens planned that I need to get on that I haven't done yet. Um, and it always just comes down to which ones do I want to do, right? Yeah, I'm also watching through Peep Show with Theron. We're on season 6, so making our way through that. I like Yick because the game never takes itself seriously. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is also the thing you need to know about Yick is it's an unreliable protagonist. So a lot of what you're seeing is he like could be metaphorical or didn't actually happen in the game, right? Like because Alex is the one telling the story, and he's a fucking bullshitter. But that's what I love about it. Like that's unique. You don't see that with a lot of RPGs. Unreliable narrators are usually resolved to written fiction. You don't really see it in a lot of others. But like I said, I will be actually doing a more in-depth video on Yick. And it's funny because like another thing is like when people negatively review it, they'll call it Yick and be like, yeah, I'm calling it Yick because it's gross and it deserves that name instead. But like that's what the actual fan base calls it too. Like everybody calls it that. You're not special. I mean, granted, I'll interchangeably go back and forth between Yick and Y2K, but but yeah, I've gotten really into the game again. I've been very obsessed with it. I'm bidding on the vinyl record online. I'm also I have the plush. I bought the book. Like I'm definitely into the game again. And New Game Plus takes away the more irritating fights because I'm super fucking overleveled and they don't actually scale up. Every enemy is at a static level. Like they scale up in principle, in that when you're further in the game, you're going to encounter higher level enemies. But if you're already a higher level and you're early in the game, you're still going to be that higher level, and they're not. Which is why I one-shot basically everything when I actually want to. Are you into RPG Maker horror games? In theory. I haven't played a whole lot of them, but I played Lisa the Painful. That's RPG Maker. I quite like Lisa. Lisa's really fun. But I haven't played a ton of RPG Maker games. I guess I played some Maker games on Newgrounds. But I'm open to RPG Maker horror games. I just haven't played a lot of them. I do need to play more Lisa the Painful, especially since, at the end of the year I won't be able to play Steam anymore unless I get Windows 10. Again, we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And I could always get it on console, but it is technically censored, although on Xbox it's considerably less censored than it is on PlayStation. I might get it on console anyway, to be perfectly honest. We'll see. We will see. I want to also get Undertale on Switch. Like, we have multiple Switches in the house, so I could theoretically start buying Switch games to stream. And it's literally just because of the Mad Mew Mew boss fight, which I have played at Spencer's. I never beat her. But the Mad Mew Mew boss fight is Switch exclusive. But yeah, if I did everything right, Rory should survive Chapter 4. So that'll be fun, because I've never seen what it's like when Rory survives. I don't know how much of a difference it makes, so we'll see. I wonder if he just won't have access to that room in the secret ending if Rory's still alive. I guess I should probably do both endings again, huh? But apparently the 1.5 update's gonna have like additional stuff in New Game Plus, so I'm looking forward to that too. Um, let's see, what else is there to talk about though? Yeah, when I get the record, that'll be the second vinyl record I've bought. The first being Yorotsuki Doji 2 soundtrack. It's crazy how like physical media is like going away and everything, but like vinyl records are huge again. Fucking hipsters, am I right? I mean, granted, vinyl actually is like the best sound quality, so I get it. And I do like vinyl. And to be fair, I never was the biggest music guy. Um, let's see. What else is there to talk about tonight? Just make sure, yeah, we're good on that. I need to start streaming. Maybe I'll start streaming some Call of Cthulhu this month or something leading up to Halloween. I'm probably not going to do it on the Halloween live stream because I like to have that be, sort of one-off things or whatever. I might do a redemption run of Creepy Black for the live stream. That might be what I do. Because if you guys don't know, when I played through Pokemon Creepy Black on the Game Boy, on the original Game Boy, I soft locked in Victory Road because of one of the gravestones of one of the trainers. But I'm just not going to kill any trainers on Victory Road, and then hopefully that'll eliminate that problem. I'll also just not be stupid when doing the puzzle and just go through it as quick as possible. Honestly, that game shouldn't take too long to beat, especially if I just do it the way, you're intended to by just using Ghost, because part of the gimmick when I played Creepy Black is I actually had a team that I leveled up in addition to using Ghost. It might be kind of fun to do a Creepy Black run with no use of Ghost and just see what happens. Like if I just treat it like a regular Pokemon Red playthrough and see if I still get the same ending, or if it's just much shorter because I didn't kill anything. I wonder if they've made any updated versions of the Game Boy Advance version of Creepy Black, because that one was way more fun. And I think the reason for that is because, the Gen 3 remakes are much more smooth and work a lot better. Like, I love Gen 1, but Gen 3 has the best engine. Like, it plays the best, even though Gen 2 is my favorite, and Crystal is my overall favorite Pokemon game. Another thing, going back to the unlikable characters thing, right? Like, I love, like, the asshole, like, rivals in Pokemon, like Blue/Gary or Silver. I love those characters. And Bede from Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think that like the nice fucking rivals that they have nowadays are fucking cringe. Like I love it when the rival's an asshole to you. Like that's kind of the point. That's what I loved about it. I should probably play through Outlaw at some point too, since I did Kurosu, which is a sequel to Outlaw. I would love to play the actual original Outlaw as well. The newer Pokemon games are boring. I agree. I absolutely agree. Like I love like Gen 1 through 3 for me is like set. Like that's all I need. In fact, most of what I play is Gen 3 ROM hacks. Like that's most of the Pokemon games I've played. Right? Because I played like the first one I played was the Gen 3 Creepy Black version, right? And then I played Gen 2 and 1 quite a bit too, ROM hacks of those and actual real games. And I played real games in 3 as well because I did do a playthrough of Leaf Green on Rumble exclusively. Um, and I'm currently doing a playthrough of Emerald, although it's Emerald with a special trick to get level 100 all shiny of everything. I was actually going to play through the old original Xbox and PS2 Hulk game the other day, but my disc is too scratched and I don't have it installed on the modded Xbox. But I might see if it's on the other modded Xbox that I haven't used in forever. That could be worth checking out. I have such a ass backwards way of doing everything on YouTube. Like, I'm stubborn. I'm not very tech literate, to be perfectly honest. But that's just the. I put my hair. My hair's a mess. I never fucking do anything with it. I'm lazy. Um, that's why I usually wear a hat. Like. I mean, I have a hat out here. There you go. There you go. There you go. See, all better. Nah, I hate my hair. I'm just too lazy to comb it or anything like that. That's why I used to always shave my head bald. I'd call it the Trevor, as in my brother Trevor, or as in Trevor from GTA. I assume Trevor from GTA because I assume you're not someone I know. GTA, yeah, I figured. It is kind of like Trevor because Trevor like doesn't give a shit about his appearance like at all, and I'm kind of the same way. Like I just throw on whatever. I mean, granted, I buy like I have T-shirts. Like I basically exclusively wear T-shirts, and I order most of them online. Malachi's still at it? I don't know. I don't really keep up with him. Like, I mean, he hasn't really uploaded to YouTube in forever, but I haven't really kept up with him. Nor do I really care at this point. It's whatever. Sort of bored of that for now. I'm much more interested in Cucumber Clan. In all honesty, he's much more entertaining. It's a bit chilly out tonight. Aren't you into the Castlevania? Are you into the Castlevania games? I started to play the old NES games. I played a little bit of Castlevania. I liked what I played, but I haven't played a whole lot of it. What would you do if he asked you to donate to the Israeli trans kids of the Ukraine Fund? Well, that doesn't exist. Also, he wouldn't ask me to do shit. He hates me. He wants nothing to do with me. He wants to publicly pretend I don't exist, and that's fine. I actually think that's probably the best move he can make. Like, that makes sense. Yeah. Got some smoke in my eye. Huh. All right. All right, let's take this show inside and yick it up, yeah? All right. All right. I'm letting you in. Calm down. Okie dokie. All right. All right, boys. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream, but I'm probably going to go play some more Yick, so I'll see you guys in a minute. Toodles.